Here's the thing, I don't want to play the exact same game that I played in 2007. How the hell are you, YouTube? I'm back again with another opinion for a series that's near and dear to my heart, Pokemon. I've been a fan of Pokemon since I fell out the womb, literally. I think it's the first series I ever established a real connection with as a gamer. And my favorite generation of all time is the fourth. Pearl was actually the game I got along with my DS Lite back when it first dropped in America. I remember my dad surprised me with it. It was also the last console he ever bought for me because I was a little shit, but that's beside the point. The point is, the fourth generation is my favorite generation, and it's getting remakes this year. So why am I not ecstatic like I was during Oras or Heart Gold Soul Silver's release? Well, it looks like this. But let's talk about it. One of the things I've learned scripting videos is how hard it can be to concisely and simply state something and have it be understood by everyone who hears that statement. So even though the trailer for these games dropped months ago, it's taken me a while to find one sentence I can get behind and make my thesis. I don't want to play the same game that I played in 2007. So off rip, the statement seems kinda off. After all, aren't remakes all about revisiting the nostalgia that the entertainment product gave you all those years ago? Well, yes, but also no. To start with, and this is going way off topic, but it's semi-important to the conversation, what is a remake to you? What does remake mean to you? Just the same thing but remade? Or an experience remade but adjusted for the times? Or enhanced with whatever new techniques are out. The concept behind a remake has been bouncing around in my head for ages because at the start of the PS4 and Xbox One generation, games came out left and right calling themselves either remasters or remakes. Remasters are the same product, but slightly enhanced and retouched to be a definitive edition of that original product. You get the same experience, but now that experience just gets that extra bit better. But then what is a remake? Well, let's look at one popular remake to get an idea. The first one that comes to mind is the FF7 remake, Final Fantasy VII, a remake which has the advantage of 20 years of technological difference separating it and its original release. Congrats, you don't need 3 different discs to hold this one game anymore, but you can see every little advancement made in the game. No longer are the characters poorly represented by 3D models with polygon budgets of less than 200. Backgrounds don't look like low-quality JPEGs. Characters can actually emote. You know what they're feeling. They speak to you so you can hear them say it. The combat is completely different from the original. It's based on the original, and the nostalgia is there when you see something that reminds you of the original, but the feeling it evokes is entirely different compared to what you played all those years ago. Now let's do a remaster. I want to use another recent game, so let's use the new Mass Effect collection. It's Mass Effect. That's it, to be honest. It looks that much prettier thanks to redone and AI upscale textures. It plays a little smoother, especially in the original Mass Effect, thanks to advancements they made since then. It's an overall better experience than the original Mass Effect, but you won't really be feeling anything different from it. It's the same game, just better. There's nothing wrong with that approach, and people who want to revisit it can be happy they have an improved version of the game they love. So taking those two definitions into account, what does Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl look like to you? Well, I haven't actually played yet, so anything I say here is premature, and the answer is a mix of both, truthfully speaking. Of course, the game is now fully modeled in 3D, as opposed to the original sprites from the original game, but they didn't even take the chance to update the art style. It's actually impressive that they chose the approach they did because the last 3 Pokemon games, Sword and Shield, Let's Go, and Sun and Moon, all use more perspective-accurate character models, and the developers for this game chose to go with chibi-style characters reminiscent of the original release. The environments themselves look largely the exact same, down to the art style of the sprite work, just in 3D. It's clearly a remade game, but the feeling it evokes makes me feel more as if it's a remaster, especially compared to the other recent Pokemon games. Here is where my personal issue comes in. I don't want to play the same game I played when I was 10. See, perhaps I've been spoiled by remakes releasing and being not superior per se, but extremely great ways to enjoy game stories that dropped years ago. With games like Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil 2 out, I almost expect every remake to overhaul the experience in new ways, but BDSP just don't give me that feeling. Granted, this is just based off the looks alone, but truthfully, when it comes to Pokemon, looks are 50% of the package. Pokemon is probably the most stagnant game series of all time. It easily beats out any sports title for the least changes made to the gameplay formula, period. Battling has been the same, In essence, since the first ever game, they dressed it up with new moves, new types, new items, new abilities, hell, they even added mid-battle transformations. But it's still the same. You pick a move, they pick a move, and by the end, somebody faints. I don't mean to oversimplify or hate on Pokemon, I actually love the battle system. I'm a regular Pokemon Showdown player. I used to do OU exhibitions for fun on my phone at school, but I'm not playing Pokemon for the battle system. At least, not the mainline games where difficulty is basically non-existent. I'm playing to catch Pokemon and become immersed in the world. I'm playing to lose myself in my screen, enjoying the world of Pokemon with all the new advancements the technology has to offer. That's where my personal take on this comes from. I knew one day Generation 4 would get remade. After all, this is Pokemon's fourth return to a new platform in the form of a remake. Fire Red, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Oras all stood as great remakes that made use of the technology they were given. Fire Red, Leaf Green had entire post-game areas added to the experience in the form of the Sevi Islands, and added the Battle Tower. Heart Gold, Soul Silver was a visual treat for the time and platform. I still remember the scene of Lugia flying out of the waterfall to fight you. Oras added the ability to hop on your Pokemon and fly around the map. Soaring is one of the best things Game Freak ever let go. Hell, even Let's Go, more a remake of Pokemon Yellow than anything, had its positives in the visual department. The same routes and cities with just that much more detail. It was also great to see battle environments look like the actual environment you were in. The battle in Oak's lab, for instance, looked great. You could ride Pokemon around the map. Pokemon remakes have looked great before, so why is this the one they had to pass off to another company? Well, that's because they're dropping another, probably more main series game 3 months after the remake. Yay. After all, why put out a product that will directly compete with what you really want to sell, this brand new game? This remake should have been the best yet. Instead, we are getting what's probably the least remake-like remake ever. Granted, some people do enjoy the old aesthetic that much more, but to that, honestly, I'd just say remaster the original game and call it a day. Remakes are for pushing the experience to its limits. Go play the OG if you want nostalgia. Well, if I'm being frank, I'm just kinda pissed they decided to do this with the generation that I love. Gen 1ers got 2 different remakes in 2 different eras and got to see Kanto a 3rd time in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and yet somehow Gen 4 is what gets shafted in the remake department. It's a damn shame. I wish they just dropped their Legends Arceus game and waited a full year to drop the remake at this point, cause what the hell? You could have dropped both Pokemon Company. You did not have to treat the entire generation's remake like chopped liver and pass it off to a third party. Now, all this said, this is all conjecture. Realistically, we only have the trailers to go off of for the game, but the trailers show off the art style, they show off the basic environments that I never thought I'd have to see again, which is honestly the worst part of this to me. I can't tell you enough how much I love the battle screen looking like my environment, and since it's Pokemon, we already know what the gameplay's like. Well, I'm talking all this shit, but I'll probably still buy the game anyway because I'm a Pokemon shill. This has been a Mad Omega video. Have a nice day.